Cool. Morena koutou. I did it again. I'm still learning how to go live, but I think I've got it now. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed yesterday. Today I'm going to talk about so a couple of the pātai that I get asked around rongoā, and these are great pātai. So one of them is, how do I dry my rongoā? How do I dry the plants? And I do it really, really simply. When I harvest plants, I will generally just put it into a woven basket or a kete, and then I just leave it in a room for about 3 weeks. It'll take to dry. I just leave it in a room. I keep an eye on it. I'll turn it, and then I'll check on it about a couple of weeks later to make sure that it's okay, that there's no mold. So it's always important to make sure that the room that you're drying it in doesn't have it's not moist or a damp room, or it gets steam in the room. So as long as the room's dry and it's quite ventilated, then you can dry your leaves in there. So I check it to make sure there's no mold on the leaves. If you do get any mold on the leaves, then you have to discard it and start again. But usually it takes, in the summertime, 2 to 3 weeks. About now, I will bring the leaves inside. I'll make sure that they're drying. They might take a little bit longer. But usually how I also dry them is that because they look so beautiful, I leave them on their stems. And behind me, this plant here is the mapo, the Myrcena australis, the mapo. And I just keep it in a vase. And it just looks so beautiful. So beautiful. I mean, I don't think I've bought flowers in a very long time. I just use the harvest that I have, put it in a vase, and they'll dry nicely like that. And then I will just take the leaves off, because it's easier to take the leaves off. And then you can discard the stem, or you can use the stem as well if you want to. So that's how I dry rongoā. The other pātai about drying the rongoā is, how do you know when it's past its potential, when it's past its due-by date? Well, if you're going to dry the rongoā, like how I'm doing there, the next phase of processing the rongoā is to put it through a whiz, put it through a blender to turn it into a tea leaf, basically what you're looking for. And that will last. I mean, how long does green tea last for? It's going to be the same for our rako as well. So I don't know, a shelf life of tea for maybe a year, maybe longer. It all depends. You will know when you taste it, but just as long as you're storing it correctly, keeping it in a nice, once you've processed the leaves and you've put it into a jar or a brown paper bag, just to keep it stored and without any moisture. The same way you would look after bell tea, green tea, any herbal tea. So kapai. Okay, so those were the pātai. So something that's been that I woke up this morning, and every morning I think, so what am I going to kōrero about today? And what I do is I feel into my body to see how my body is feeling with the atua, with the elements of the day. And I check in. I'm basically checking in. How does everything feel? Is my wairua good? Is my wairua all, back? Is it in my body? Because, at night when you go into moimoia, when you have dreams and things, you're basically traveling in your dreams. So you are literally visiting people, you are healing, you're getting healed. There's so many things that happen, which is why when you wake up, sometimes you might feel really tired and like you have hardly any sleep. And I think the main reason is because you've done quite a bit of mahi in your moemoeā. And it's a lot of people don't realize that it is actually a real space. Your wairua is traveling and doing all what it needs to do. And I've met many warriors of the night who like to go out and they do their thing, they clear pathways, they do so much mahi, and then during the day they're quite tired. So I'm just wanted to share that with you, just around those spaces. So when I wake up, I have to tune into my tinana, into my body, to see how I'm feeling, to make sure that my wairua is here with me. Am I switched on? And I tune into the atua. I tune into my environment. I tune into the sounds around me, the smells around me. Is tawhiri mātia? Is the wind up? Is it raining outside? What are the manu doing? Is there a lot of noise, or which are the manu that I can hear first thing in the morning? Are there any stars out? Where is the moon? So these kind of things, I kind of wake up and I think, what am I going to kōrero about today? I actually tune into my body and see how my body is feeling, and to make sure that I'm grounded, and to make sure that I am in fully intact. So those are some of the things that I do. But this morning, what was interesting is that I got up and I did my writing as I normally do, to tune into what's going on. And some of the things that came up for me today is that the theme this week seems to be around clearing and cleaning spaces, the spaces around me. And just to let you know that all the spaces around us, like the kitchen, the lounge, the front yard, the backyard, is exactly the same as our tinana, is exactly the same with what's going on in here. Everything is the same. So whatever's going on in your kitchen is going on in here. So something that was really interesting is that I have quite a few tasks, projects in my kitchen, and I put them on myself. Because I want to make this, I want to make this, and I want to make this. Oh, and I'm going to do this. So I put all these projects, because it's everything that I want to do, but I know that I don't have the time to do them. And so I have to make space for, am I going to do this right now? And if it's a no, then I just basically have to let it go. I can't just leave it there. It's one of those things. These are the things that I'm doing. It's really tackling the spaces that I know I'm not going to get around to, the projects I'm not going to get around to, and actually cutting it loose and letting it go, because it's about making space in this tinana, making space for what's to come. Because I know that, and most of you will know, is that our Māori New Year is a really significant time, and the build-up has been happening for a little while. So you can feel your tinana starting to prepare for it. And I'll probably keep talking about this, because the reason why I want to talk about this is because we're actually trying to prepare our hinengaro, our mind, our wairua. Everything is the same, but we're wanting to prepare those spaces to make sure that they're neutral, that they're grounded, that they've got space to receive the kōrero of ngā tupuna when they rise, to receive the kōrero of our ancestors when they rise during our New Year. It's such a beautiful time. And so you don't have to try to make spaces. Your tinana should be feeling the urge to make those spaces right now. And if they aren't, it's okay, because it will happen. It will happen. So the more space that you clear in your whare, the more space that's going to clear in your tinana and your hinengaro to be able to receive the kōrero. And the kōrero starts to come in, it comes in all the time. It comes in all the time, but it starts to, what's the word? It starts to rise in its vibration, rise in its modi as the stars start to rise, as they start coming into our atmosphere. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? So I can't think, yes, I can. It's such a sacred event, and now is the time to start preparing your tinana to be in that sacred space. So the things that I'm doing is clearing the kitchen, letting go of projects that I know I'm not going to get around to, letting that go. Because if you've got a project that you're still holding on to and you know you're always going to get around to it, that holds on to you, that takes up space. It takes up space in your hinengaro. You have to let it go to clear space for new inspiration, for new ideas. So something I did the other day, which I don't normally do, is I bought a couple of books, and I haven't done that for a long time. And there's a reason for that. But this year, I want to fill my hinengaro and prepare it with certain values that I'm looking into and things that I want to learn. And that is around the maramataka and significant kai, specific kai. And because we know that kai, gosh, this is turning into a bigger kōrero. This might continue tomorrow, but we know that kai, even though it's food, kai is mātauranga. Kai is knowledge. Kai is so anything you consume in the form of kai is chemicals, it's little compounds, it's minute, it's energy, it's kōrero, it's mātauranga. So wherever you get your kai from, that is what you are receiving the kōrero. You're receiving the kōrero from the kai. Yeah, I think we'll go into that kōrero another day. What else did I want to talk about? So it's all about clearing spaces. All spaces are the same, regardless whether it's your kitchen or your hinengaro, both the same. If you've got a kitchen if you've got a fridge full of kai that's going off, because I know, it happens, and you've got kai that's going off, you need to get rid of it because every time you see it, every time your wairua knows that it's there, it takes up space. And if you can imagine, rotting food is not a good thing to have unless you're going to use it for your compost, stuff like that. So all spaces are the same, and I think that's our kōrero today. I just want to leave on this note. There's a significant time coming up, and this weekend, and I have been sitting with in the puna of some of Jesus's sayings. Now, I'm not religious in any way. I have my own values, but I just love the kōrero of Jesus, and so many other master healers as well. But the person I'm sitting with at the moment is the kōrero and the sayings of Jesus Christ. And because that, so here's a proverb that he said: "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So when I was a child, I used to go to church. There was always a sign. I remember reading all the signs in the church that I went to, and I memorized all the signs in the room. I was only little, but that one really stood out to me. And when you sit with that, when you contemplate on that and you write about that, you can go deeper into that kōrero, and it gives you a myriad of inspiration and ideas. And when that happens, you know that the person who said that, there is so much truth in that because of the depth. There's so much light in the kōrero that you want to go deeper, and you know it to be true. So that is something that I've been sitting with, and I think we're going to go more into that as well, because it's about knowing the truth. And what is truth? What is the truth that Jesus was talking about? You know, he's just like Māori, we have our whakatauki, our pūrākau. Behind the veil of the kupu is another meaning, a real, you know, the truth of the meaning of the kupu, of the whakatauki, and the same with that saying there. So yeah, I think we'll get into that kōrero as we go on as well, knowing what truth is, feeling the truth, because right now people need to hear truth. They're yearning for it. Their wairua needs to be nourished by truth. I mean, there's so much chaos out there at the moment that we need to know truth and understand it in what it feels like. And if you're getting shivers up and down your spine right now, that's when you know that what you're listening to about truth is tika and pono. So, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou katoa. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. I promise I won't be late. I will get to know this machine. Ka kite anō.